Medrash Rabba Breshis Pasha. It says on the bottom, Tezayin Beis, Shelo haya olam kadai liishtamish b'zohav v'lo nivra ela b'shvil beis hamikdash, that the world was not fitting, was not on the level to use gold, and it was only created for the Beis Hamikdash. Sfiras habinyan humi chesed ve'elech olam chesed yibaneh, because these spheres of building the world is from kindness on, that the world is founded with kindness, it builds the world. V'hazahav umebina, but gold comes from the level of bina, beyond chesed. V'gam shem zahav rashi tevos shene'amar bahem, v'gam sham shem zahav divrei Torah, so too the word zahav refers to the words of Torah, shene'amar bahem, that it says about them, hanechmadim mizahav, that they're more precious than gold. V'hainu kiyorai samechach manafkis, and that is because the Torah comes from wisdom, shalamayla me'habina, that's higher than bina. If gold is bina and divrei Torah is from chachma, so it's nechmadim mizahav, it's more precious than the gold, than the bina. Shalamayla me'habina v'chatzar hachitzona hu mikor v'chayus ha'olamos, and the outer courtyard is the source for the life of the worlds. V'chatzar ha'pnimis hu apone kadim kadmono shel olam, but the inner courtyard faces inwards towards the prime mover of the world, the first one in the world, the Hashem. V'chein Torah nikra mashal hakadmoni, so to Torah is called the first allegory. The concept of chachma is the inner courtyard, whereas bina is the outer courtyard. V'aymi ze b'dibur hamaskil v'erastichli b'dibur hamaskil kis sishma bekol olchein ish v'isha chulu achas daso chulu. Therefore, it says any man or woman who goes in to the inner courtyard, asher lo yikared, it's not called. Esther says, achas daso lahamis, his one opinion is to kill. And like it says, even by the Kohen Gadol, al yavo v'chulu, that he shouldn't come at all times. Levad Masher Yoshit lo chulu, only if the golden scepter is stretched out. So the Kohen Gadol can't go into the Holy of Holies anytime. He has to be called. It has to be the right time. Like he brought before from the Shalah, that the golden bells correspond with the golden scepter to come in announced. Shashar v'tazahavu gamken mibechinas bate gavai, that the golden scepter is from the concept of the inner houses. Shem gimel rishonos chulu kanal, that's the three first levels of the spheros of Chochmah Bina Das, like we said, whereas the midos would be the external, the concept of olam chesed yibaneh, but the zahav and so forth is beyond the worlds. Tes mehabir al pasuk v'Yoshit Hamelech Esther. So from the explanation on that the king stretched it forth for Esther, mevor the shavit hazahav hu kav hamida, it explains that the golden scepter is the kav, the measuring stick of creation, putzina de kardunisa, the dark candle, shemamshich migvura datik yamin chulu, that draws down from the gvura of atik. It's the, so to speak, measuring stick for the oros, how much each one should shine. Ulechein v'chaya, and therefore that gives life. That if the king stretches forth his measuring stick, his golden scepter, so that gives life, the person will live. Ki migvuros datik yamin mekor chayos v'ishtalshlus kol ha'olmos abiyachulu, because it is from this level of Gvura of Atik that's the source for all these gradative process of all the worlds. Vatzilus Brigid Siyah Hu Ra'ayin B'Me'ori Or Os Ches Sif Yud V'Sif Yud Aleph Chaya Gematria Chut Kulu. And Me'ori Or explains the word Chaya is in the same gematria as the word a cord or a strand. So the concept of the life directly corresponds with the kav hamida, the chut. V'nei mechut hashidra nimshach hatiba b'yesod. Now from the spinal cord is drawn down the drop into the yesod. It's so v'zeu Masher Yoshit chulu Rashi Tevos Mila, and that's why Masher Yoshit lo Hamelech is the first letters make up the word Mila, because the drop that's drawn into the bris comes through the spine. So the spinal cord corresponds with the scepter. Gam מהביור הנ"ל שבחינת החייס הנמשך על דרך חץ ושוב. It's possible that the scepter also corresponds with the bris itself. But in this context, it corresponds with the spinal cord, the chut hashidra. Shebchinas hachayos hanimshech al derech ha'otzav v'shov. So amerumaz b'sharvit hazahav, that the life force that's drawn through the going up and coming back process in creation, that it's hinted to in the golden scepter, b'sharvit hazahav davka, specifically shekamokin hazahav minotzeitz kegachale eish lo chashos. So too, gold sparkles like burning embers, and that's a concept of Ratzav V'Shov. Gamazav Gvura Datik Yamin, and also the gold is the Gvura of Atik. V'yidua shachayos hanimshach b'Ratzav V'Shov zeu keshenimshach dafka morein sof hasoviv kol almin. And it's known that the life force that comes in a way of going up and coming back, that's when it's drawn down from the infinite light that encompasses creation, encompasses the worlds, because it's so beyond, so it goes back up to its source. It can't wants to go back to its source and not fit in the kli. And that's the concept of the golden scepter and the end. She will live because this comes from the source of life, the living defect, so to speak, the circulation of life that corresponds with this idea of gvura, of strength, that's in the blood and the circulation and the beating heart, so to speak. But silver is kindness, that the world is built on kindness. We can say that that's compared more to water that comes down, and not so much this concept of going up and coming back, like the gold and fire. There's two concepts of Mila. The first is that you should circumcise, and the second is that Hashem circumcises. And that's the two ends of the scepter. The lower edge is that through you circumcising, and the higher edge is that end of the scepter is that Hashem will circumcise. So again, the scepter corresponds with the Mila, but two aspects in it. And that's why who will go up to the heavens for us. That's the Rashi Tevos of Milah, but the first letter, that's the first letters are the Milah, but the end letters are Havaya. So we have you should do the Milah and Hashem will do the Milah. So it's a concept of going up towards heaven. It's the measuring stick of creation of in the heavens. The Kav Achut. Masher Yoshit lo Hamelech Rashi Tevos Milah, and therefore that which the king stretches forth, that is the Rashi Tevos of Milah as well. The Kav corresponds with Milah. So it's, I guess that might be Umal Havaya, the king who's doing the Milah. So, and afterwards you have the words Es Sharvit HaZahav, the golden scepter, that the first letters are Isha, woman, Ki Itasa Kamanda Mahal Yadamya, because a woman is considered as already having a bris milah when she's born. So the Sharvit HaZahav, which corresponds with the milah, also corresponds with a woman, because the woman has this aspect as well. Ein Bilukutei Torah Pashas Ekev, Ulechein Gam Ba Nimshach Mebechinas Sharvit HaZahav Hanal, and therefore also in her is drawn this concept of the golden scepter, Zeu V'chaya, and that is that she will live. So V'chaya is the feminine life into the feminine, because also into her is drawn this aspect into the feminine aspect, as is the masculine of Milah. V'kamo shekasav Zohar Chelik Gimel Membeis Beis Deitz HaChaim Shadol LaChaim Ulechein Nikra Eretz HaChaim, that the Eitz HaChaim Shadol LaChaim, that the tree of life gives life to her, and therefore it's called the land of life, the land of the living. He calls Yuv an Inyan Hanal Sif Zayin Vavehem Kasef V'yesh Vavehem Zahav, that it says about the Vavim of the Amudim in the Mishkan, that some of the Vavim, some of the Vavs were silver and some of them were gold. That the concept of the Vav is like a Kav of Chayus, a life force that is drawn down. So you have the concept of the life force that's drawn down for the worlds. That's Kesef, that's Olam Chesed Yibane. And then you have the concept of the golden Kav, the Gevuros of Atik, which is Chayus for Olamos, and a concept of the Bris or Milah, Epnimius of Chayus. Nehemiah Simentes Chavtes. It says on the bottom, Nehemiah Nira Nirshim Kan Mipnei Medaber B'inyan Chaim. Haras Kvod Kodesh Yisod Mashlita. So this is out from the Rebbe. The reason this paragraph is mentioned in something about Nehemiah is because it also mentions the concept of life that was explained, that's drawn down from the Kav, the Sharvit HaZahav V'chaya. So Nehemiah also, we're going to explain, Ubimishpatecha Chatu Bam, and that it says there in his tefillah that they sinned against your mishpatim, against your laws. Perhaps with the Kohanim who married non-Jewesses. Asher Yaseh Adam v'chaya bahem, that it says of the mishpatim, the Nehemiah says that it says about them that a person will do them and live with them. It says v'chaya bahem in the feminine. In the Torah it says v'chay bahem, but here in Nehemiah it says v'chaya bahem. V'hu me'akasav shebetorah parshas Achrei Yud Ches Aleph, and that's what it says in the Torah in Parshas Achrei, u'shmartem es chukosai ves mishpatai, that you should guard my chukim and my mishpatim, my statutes and my laws. Asher yaseh osam ha'adam v'chai bahem ani havaya. It says, and that a person will do them and will live with them as I am Hashem, Ikarim Mem Daled, Parsha Mem, Perek Mem, Baba Kama Daled, Lamed Ches Aleph, Sanhedrin Zayin Tes Aleph, Makos Gimel, Chav Gimel Beis, Perek Lifnei Dehen, Gimel Aleph, Sanhedrin Ayin Daled Aleph. So he doesn't make the distinction between the masculine and the feminine. It's just the fact that it's referring to Chaim, that the mitzvos are this aspect as well. Baba Kamal, Daled Lamed Ches, Sanhedrin Zayin Nun Tes Aleph, Makos Gimel, Chav Gimel Beis, Perek Lifnei Dehen Gimel Aleph, Sanhedrin Ayin Daled Aleph, Uvdiku Chavim Amazolos Perek Beis, Kav Vav Beis, Nun Daled Aleph, Yom Perek Vav Samech Zayin Beis, Akeda Shar Ayin. Rabos Kuf Mem Tes Gimel, Rish Nun Daled Beis, Beko Halas Pei Aleph, Yalkut Chil Gimel, Yalkut Chilik Aleph, Pei Aleph Gimel, Pei Vav Gimel, Kuf Samech Zayin Gimel, Kuf Ayin Aleph. Shalah Beis Aleph, Tes Zayin Aleph, Kaf Beis Beis, Lamed Tes Beis, Megilas, Mem Gimel Aleph, Samech Vav Aleph, Bechaye Kuf Kaf Daled Aleph, Kuf Pei Daled Beis Daled. All those matter that have to do with this Nehemiah or with the pasuk in Torah, Achrei and so forth, or the idea of Yaseh Osam Ha'adam V'chai Behem. So he brings now Inyanim and starts again with the Osios. Bechaye b'mekomo Aleph. The first thing is Bechaye b'mekomo Parshas Achrei Daf Kuf Nun Amud Gimel Al Pasuk Ashayos. Now these are the minor mekomos for Bechaye Behem. So the first one is Bechaye in Parshas Achrei Asher Yaseh Osam Adam Bechaye Behem. When a man does them and lives with them and lives with because of them, because of the mitzvos. And this is what he says. Od Matzinu Arba Minei Chaim. Further we find 4 different types of life, Sheha'adam Zocha Behen B'kiyum HaTorah Mitzvos, that a man merits through fulfillment of the Torah Mitzvos. Ha'alef Chaim Kederach B'nei Adam Shem Chaim B'amshachas Azman V'chulu. The first is life, like people who live through the passage of time. Hasheni Chaim Asher HaCholi Chulu. The second is to live, meaning to get better. Hechye and so forth. Somebody who has a sickness and gets better is called the Chaim. Chaim Mechudashim, the new life. Hagimel Chaim Shel Slicha V'chulu. The third is life of forgiveness. I guess like we say on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, V'kosvinu l'chaim and so forth. V'zochrenu l'chaim. It's also, I guess, asking for forgiveness. Haravi inyan tchias hamesim. The third chaim, the fourth life, is the revival of the dead. V'daled minei chaim elu nichlalim b'milas v'chai behem ad gan l'shona. And these 4 types of life are included in the concept of and v'chai behem, and you will live with them. That when you do the mitzvos, you'll get this life, and all these 4 kinds of life. Beis b'shalah daf beis aleph asher yaser. So further in this idea of that you'll do them and live, all connected to the idea of in Megilas Esther it says Yoshit lo Hamelech Eshavit Hazahav V'chaya. So this idea of life from Hashem, if a person does the mitzvos, who asiyas mitzvos b'poel, so the Shalah says that this is doing the mitzvos in actuality. And this that it says, and you'll live in them, that is to say, you're cleaving an attachment to Hashem, or in your doing of the mitzvos, remizos ha-mitzvos, the hints of the mitzvos, meaning what the mitzvos are hinting to, the deeper meaning, that that's the spiritual life force of the mitzvah, meha-mitzvos, v'chulu ad gan l'shono, is that you should bring a chayus into the mitzvos while you do them. And further it's written, Kiner mitzvah v'torah or v'derech chaim tochachas musar, that the candle is a mitzvah and the Torah is light, and the way of life is the rebuke of musar. So this path of life is higher than the candle of the mitzvah and the Torah of life. That refers to the chayus that's in it, that's in the mitzvah and the Torah, the dveikus of it. Like our sages said in brachos, that the path of life, that refers to the world to come, the reward for the Torah mitzvahs. Mem malchus. Hatorah or zehu zer anpin, and the Torah or the light of Torah refers to parts of zer anpin, v'derech bina, and the path of life refers to bina. Shebahi skalus atik, that in it is the revelation of, that in bina is the revelation of atik. V'imkein zehu v'chai behem, and if so, that's the concept of you will live with you, and you will live with the mitzvahs. You do them and you get life. That is, you draw down into them the concept of bina. And that's through the proper intention of the mitzvahs, the dveikus, like the Shalah says. So this corresponds nicely to what he brought about the idea of the zahav is bina, the golden scepter is bina v'chaya, that's higher than, it's the life of the world, the inner life that's higher than the olam chesed yibanei of kesef, of chesed. It's the Shavit Hazav V'chaya, the life that comes from the golden scepter, the Bina, that's beyond Chesed. And then he brings Mamer Makomos Kamoshkaz B'Sefer Shel Binonim Perek Lamed Ches, talks there about Kavanos HaMitzvos. B'Likutei Torah B'Dibur Maschilo Hibit Avin B'Yakov. Gimel Shalah Kaf Beis Beis B'Shem Haramban. The Targum Unclus V'Chai Bahem L'Chaye Alma. That Unclus translates in Parshas Achrei, then you will live with them to the world to come. Dainu Tchias HaMeisim, that is to say, the L'Chaye Alma refers to the revival of the dead. Sheyiskaimu beguf v'nefesh la'olam, that you will get up in a body and a soul forever. V'giloi zenim shechal yidei keser, and this revelation is drawn through keser, through the level of keser. K'mo shekazu b'torah or parshas Yisro samach daled sif tibur maskil inyan ha'avos hein hamerkava. That Tchias HaMeisim comes from keser, v'aynu ki misham nimshach ha'chaim, that from there comes the concept of life. V'nikra ki imcha mikor chaim, and it's called that with you is the source of life. And in Shalah, and in another place it says, and you will live in them the concept of life that's forever. Also, like this concept of like L'chai Alma. Shalah, Perek Vav Aleph, Suf Tibur HaMaskil Ozayin, Zihirus, Zrizus, so carefulness and expedience, Perash Asher Yasechulu V'chai Behem, that you do them and you'll live in them, meaning you'll also bring a chayas into them, not kavana, but this time, time, that you'll do it quickly and with an energy and not laziness. Like it says, because you didn't serve Hashem with joy, that it has to be with energy that you do the mitzvahs. So too, one of the obligations of the Kos Shel Bracha is that you have live, that Yain Chai is wine that does not have the mziga yet. It's wine that you need to add water to meaning to say that it should be proper wine. Pirush Parish. I'm not sure what Parish is. And we can say, well, Parish means separated, so maybe it means separated from the dregs. So perhaps it's a concept of joy removed from all that weighs you down and so forth. I don't know. And we can say that Tzemach Tzedek says that in order to draw down the way of life into the candle of the mitzvah, so mitzvah, that's through the joy of the mitzvah, because Bina is called the joyous mother of her children. So again, if we're talking about Bina being the Chaim, that's above the Malchus and the Zah, like we said in the previous paragraph, the Ner Mitzvah and Torah or is Malchus and Zah. So the Chaim is the concept of Bina, and Bina is the Simcha. So V'chai Behem means to do the mitzvahs b'simcha. Ein minyan simcha shel mitzvah b'dibur hamaschil usri legafin u'bebiur al pasuk teinu re'ina harishon. Daled. It says on the bottom, Namikan at Siyum Nidfas Puratora Achrei Amud Tzadik Tes V'Siyum Amimad Le'il, that from here until the end is also printed in Order Torah Achrei, because it has to do with V'chai Behem. Bubuch 1181 Nitzoyin Achar Sif Gimel Masha Shaykh Lekan Hu Buch Vayikra Pashas Achrei. B'Likutei Torah B'Shir Hashirim, so if Dibur Hamaschil L'Susasi Harishon, so in Likutei Torah Shir Hashirim, the first L'Susasi, that I compare you to horses, Asher Yaseh Osam Ha'adam V'chai Behem, that man will do them and live in them. Perusha Osin Mitaknin B'chinas Adam. So what does it mean? Sheyaseh Osam Ha'adam. Make that the simple explanation is that man will do them. But you can also say that you'll make the man, Asher Yaseh Osam Ha'adam, you'll make them into man. V'chai Behem, and put life in them. Perusha Osin Mitaknin B'chinas Adam Sheyis'ala L'mayla Mayla. That is, that the man should be fixed in order to be elevated above l'b'chinas ki lo adamu, to the level of that he's not a man. V'sham shezeu inyan l'susasi, and over there in that Mamer it says that that's the idea that I compare you to horses. That just like a horse can take a man to a place where he couldn't reach on his own, to beyond man. So look over there. The Farish Adam. So it's explained that the word Adam, Kayal Ha'adam Shalakise, that refers to, in the supernal chariot, the concept of the man that's on the throne above the concept of the Malachim. So even the concept of the Adam on the throne can be elevated to a higher concept, a higher level, to beyond the concept of man. And according to this, we can explain the idea, and you'll live in them. That says in the Mamer, what's the greatness of the one who does? And the tzaddik, in his belief, he enlivens where he lives. That even the tzaddik, the life of the worlds, from his belief, he is life, or he has life, or gives life. It says, Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that the Holy One blessed be, he says, that first I killed the firstborn of Egypt, Ad Kadesh li kol bechor chulu, to the point where he says, sanctify me for me, all firstborn and so forth. Ayin Sham, look over there. Ahainu, that is to say, Shal Yideshim Mekayimim Kadesh li kol bechor, that through us fulfilling the sanctify all firstborns, and that purifies the 7 kings, the first kings of Tohu, that they are, so to speak, a firstborn, in comparison to Tikkun, that comes after Tohu, that these come before Tikkun, so therefore they're called the firstborn. So sanctify me for the firstborn, that's elevating the sparks of Tohu, of the kings of Tohu, that came, the Fnei Melech Melech Bnei Israel. So to speak, Bukhor Paro is a similar idea. Esav Bechor, just like Esav was the firstborn, so he's, so to speak, the Kadesh li b'kol b'chor. Hine al yidei zeh mosifim or b'zer anpin hanekrat tzadik chay olamim. So with this we bring extra light into zer anpin, that's called the tzaddik, the life of the worlds. So this explains nicely that Midrash Rabbah in Koheles, Ma Yisron ha'oseh, that tzaddik be'emunas v'yichya, that even the tzaddik chay olamim gets life through the emunah. That we're giving life, so to speak, to the chay olamim, the life of the source of life of the worlds, through our elevation of the sparks, of the elevating the bechor, which is Esav and Paro and the Zayin Melech and Kidmayin. So that gives an extra life to the chay olamim. Like it says that Havaya is righteous in all his ways, so he's the tzaddik, that we give life to. And it says, lift up your hands and bless Havaya, that we give, so to speak, a blessing to Havaya. So, one explanation is Baruch Hu es Havaya means to draw down Havaya, or to greaten Havaya. But here we're saying that it's to draw down into Havaya an extra light from the essence of the infinite light. B'shem Havaya, into the name Havaya. K'mo shekazar b'likutei Torah, b'dibur ha'maschil tzeinu ra'ina harishon, v'zeu inyan ha'adam v'chai b'hem. And that's the idea of man, and you'll give life into them. So if we're talking about Adam ala Kisei, and then we're bringing, which is the concept of Zer Anpin in general, and Chai Behem means bringing life into Zah. Like we said, if it's the Sharvit HaZahav, which is beyond the Chesed Olam Yibani of Kesef. Al derech bemunaso yichya, like the concept of that with belief you'll give life. I'm not sure how Bina is belief, other than the fact that it's a makif to Zah. And the Emuna usually is the concept of Keser, but perhaps that's, like you said before, that the Tchias HaMesim comes from Keser. It's the concept, so there's Hiskalos Atik in Bina, so maybe there's this idea of Emuna in Bina. And also and also drawing down Abavima into Zer Anpin is called life. It's called giving life. And as is known, an explanation in Parshas Matos, the concept of anybody who swears, who makes a neder, it's as if they're making a neder in the life of the king. So the concept of nedarim is also a concept of mochin abba ve'imo or bina, the migdal aporech be'avir and so forth. The concept of the letter lamed. I'm Zur Chelik Beis Sof Pashas Yisrael. So the Chai Hamelech is the idea of Bina giving Abba ve'Ima to Zah. So perhaps what pushes the Abba ve'Ima is the concept of Keser. V'ayin Zor Chel Gimel Nasod Daf Kuf Lamed Ches Amud Bezel Havaya Pa'olcha Bekerev Shanim Chayehu. So it brings the pasuk from Habakkuk in Zohar Naso. It says the Hashem, your actions are in the midst of the years. Is your life? Chayohi Laman. What is this life? Who is this life referring to? Who's the life being given to? That is giving life to Zah. That is to drawing down that from there is the length of days. So it says Bekerev Shanim, in the midst of the years Chayehu, you're giving life. Meaning to say Orech Yamim, the years, it's a life of years of Arich, of Orech Yamim. Mashenkim Mizachul, which is not the case if it were coming from Zeranpin. So it's coming from Arich. So that's Chayehu. That's where the Chayes is coming from Arich. Mashish. V'alkein tzarich lios Chayehu. And therefore you have to have this idea of giving life from that level. From Arich, v'zeh v'chay b'hem, and that's the idea of, and you will live in them. You do the mitzvahs and you live in them again, v'chay b'hem, according to this Perush, is that you draw down from Arich to doing the mitzvahs. Because when you get life, it's coming from the level of Orech Yamim. And the concept of your causing, your acting, you can find that explanation in on the verse. That's someone who goes in tamim and causes righteousness. Poel, the concept of Poel Tzedek, of acts of Tzedek, of acts of righteousness.